If you are here right now, you've already probably watched a million grocery hauls and however many vlogs on building meals and meal prepping. And this video is not that. This is the conversation you needed before you downloaded MyFitnessPal for the first time. So nutrition isn't hard. It's actually very simple, but it's not easy because it's directly tied to discipline your energy and the results that you are looking for. Where most people fail with nutrition plans is not that they don't know what to eat, but because they overcomplicate it, they're trying to be perfect, they're relying on willpower instead of discipline, and they're not tracking consistently for 2 to 4 weeks or truthfully. So practical steps that you can follow as a beginner and what I truthfully wish I knew when I started out my fitness and wellness journey. So one is tracking. And if macros seems too much, just start with calories and hitting a protein goal at a minimum to begin with. Get into that discipline habit and understand that discipline are boring habits. They're boring habits, but they get you real results. When you're starting out, it becomes super overwhelming. Macros and weighing and all these different feels like a restriction, right? But really it's education, knowing what fuels your body. And that's the same with if you're doing a weight loss goal or you have a fat loss goal. It's about education. It's about understanding how much is on your plate. The goal is never to starve. The goal is, again, to understand what truly is fueling your body. And that leads me into one of these big myths. When you go to the store, you see all these healthy labeled packaged goods, right? Like carb-free this, sugar-free this, fat-free this. That does not mean it is healthy. Most of these foods labeled as healthy these days, because it's the first thing our eyes gonna grab when we're trying to be healthier, right? Like the Halo Top ice creams or the sugar-free energy drinks or all these different things are highly processed foods with a ton of ingredients. When you turn around and look at the ingredient list, there's a ton of things that you probably don't even know what the majority of those ingredients are, because I don't. When I look at them, I have to research them. So you have to understand, again, that just because something is labeled healthy doesn't mean it needs to be a part of your protocol moving forward. You should be aiming for 80% of the food you eat daily, weekly, monthly, like overall, is coming from whole foods. And that means you need to cook. So with all of the different things out there, there are opportunities to buy into some kind of program, right? Like where it delivers you food. Again, always check ingredients. You don't know where they're sourcing these things unless they're very explicit on where they're sourcing their meats, their veggies, their produce, everything like that. But you will have to cook. And that is something that, cooking is not my favorite thing, but I do it because I know I need the whole foods. And I actually feel so much better when I eat real whole foods. Or if I go out to a restaurant, it's not going to be a fast food joint. It's going to be a place where I, can understand what's being put on my plate. It's like a meat and a veggie, maybe a carb of some kind, but just being very cognizant of that process. People quit because they're chasing motivation. We've talked about this on the very first week that motivation is an absolute scam. We cannot count on willpower to get us through. And our bodies actually crave consistency. We actually crave routine, and building a solid routine that serves you and your goals and actually sticking to it and keeping those promises to yourself is where you're going to build confidence. Nutrition, 9 times out of 10 is tied to emotion, right? So we're guilt eating, we are, emotionally eating, all of these different things. Food became a part of my discipline routine a long time ago. So when I went to college, I started seeing what other athletes were eating around me when I was in ROTC. They were athletes and they were eating the grilled chickens. And at college, if any of you have been to different schools, they have options for pizza. Hell, even in elementary school, right? It's like pizza and tacos and all these different things that are not necessarily really good for you. I know, because my child loves that stuff right now. He doesn't understand the concept of nutrition. But besides the point, I started seeing what athletes were eating and I started researching more on my own. So I started eating grilled chicken, hard-boiled eggs, and oatmeal every single morning, like without prevail. I could have had cereal and all this other crap, but I started feeding myself for performance. Nutrition, working out, everything in the fitness and wellness space. Again, you have to think of the end result, like longevity of your life, optimal living. You want to be healthy. You don't want to be on these medications when you're older. You want to be able to move around and not be subject to a wheelchair. Sometimes you have to make it so crystal clear why you're doing these things and make that routine and build those systems and repeat them over a long period of time. You have to build it in a sense and continue doing it so it's not something that you're just dealing with anymore, right? You're implementing. This is a part of your life. This is a lifestyle. It's not just something you're dealing with. So I'm gonna tie in a few different videos now to tell you the most important message right now is that you do not need a coach to start right now. Many people want that accountability. And you know what? I will freely be your accountability buddy if you put down in the comments below 3 meals that you like to eat that are healthy, or if you have a question if they're healthy, put that in the comments and let me know, and I will hold you accountable to it. This is something that is just so incredibly important to understand, that coaches are great when there's a specified routine, this and that, but a lot of times we put excuses in the way of actually executing. Pick a protein, pick a carb, and pick a fat that you can put together on a plate, start measuring, and watch my other video on calculating your daily calories and macros that we went into in depth on last Thursday's video. This will help you map out your own goals per the day so that you can build meals around those goals. And again, like I said, to make it easy, if this is very overwhelming, just start with the calories and a protein goal, because we're all of us, you know, again, 9 times out of 10, protein is what we under-consume. So build your meals around protein. Nutrition is one part of your life and your wellness journey, and it's all about showing up with intention. Meal prep, eating healthy, weighing your food, all of these different things are not about being perfect. It's just about eating intentionally and not winging it. We have to stop the wing it approach. We even have to stop the eating to your macros approach, right? Because a lot of things are heavily processed, like we talked about a little bit earlier. Eat whole foods 80% of the time, and now I'm going to rapid fire some other tips for you. Plan for 3 days, not 7. It keeps food fresh without being overwhelming. Repeat meals, you don't need 10 different meals a week. Build meals around your protein. Add carbs and fats after. Pre-cook your base proteins, your turkeys, your chickens, your steaks, your ground beef, whatever it is. And that way that's already done. Chop up all your vegetables. That's another thing. Save yourself some time and have things already made and ready to mix together. Use containers that separate your meals. That way it is an easy grab and go if you are working or have to go somewhere, even travel, because you can pack your food. Keep a few assembly meals in mind. Maybe this is a healthy taco bowl or some kind of mixture, whether it's like salmon and cucumber and some things like that, ready to go so they're easy to grab. Always grocery shop with a plan. Do not shop and think you're going to pick the right things. Don't be intuitive, because you might grab some things and put in the cart that you don't need. Double recipes you already love so you can eat once fresh and one reheated. Keep at least one lazy meal ready to go. That could be a smoothie bowl, overnight oats, something like that, so that when you are hungry or still have some calorie or macro goals to meet, you have something easy to grab and go. Cook while you multitask. I've told you, listen to a podcast, listen to music. Sometimes I'll edit while my stuff is in the air fryer. Like, just do something else so that you feel that a sense of accomplishment, but also you can get other tasks done. Cooking doesn't mean standing over a stove. I'm telling you, an air fryer will change your life. Here's the thing, most people don't struggle with the workouts or going to the gym. They truly struggle when it comes to nutrition, because the discipline to say no to Uber Eats and yes to the meals they prepped 2 to 3 days ago, that's the real battle. Again, with perfection not in mind at all. When you start understanding your calories, your macros, when you actually track for about a month or even half a month, that's when things start clicking, and that's when things start getting easier. You're getting into a true routine, you understand, and now you can tie it to your results and your goals. Trust me, when you actually track and you combine working out, and in addition, here's a bonus tip. When you have a workout plan, you're eating right, add a 20-minute walk to your days, 5 days a week, and I promise you, you will see results. A six-pack is not built in a gym. It is built in the kitchen, one meal at a time. We've talked about this before. You're gonna see all of these different routines, like this is how I got a strong core and the six-pack, and that's just absolute garbage if nutrition is not tied to what they're showing you. Don't just believe everything you see. You need to be eating correctly, and those are accessory type movements, because guess what? Everyone has abs beneath the layer of whatever else is there, right? Beneath the fat and everything else. You already have the muscle there. So you need to reveal it by eating correctly. So follow those steps, understand what you're aiming for, and realize and be accountable to the understanding that if you are just coming up with excuses to not start eating healthy, to not move your body, that is entirely 100% on you. Not your genetics or being big boned, which is not even a thing. Genetics does matter, but a lot of people don't realize that just living a healthier lifestyle and food being medicine and that's a whole nother topic we can get into, your life can change. So if you are someone listening now who's been on and off with meal plans, diets, nutrition, all these different things, and you're getting frustrated because you feel that you're doing everything right and you're not seeing any results, I want you to zoom in and hyper focus on the food you're feeding yourself. That is where it lies. Start small, one meal at a time, one plate at a time. Thank you as always for being here. Next week, we are getting into what we call the $1 million morning routine, and it's not what you think. So stay tuned. Thanks for being here. Remember, stay disciplined and know that you are built to perform. Love you guys.